Well, across the Atlantic, it is now hurricane season, which began June 1st. And this isn't really the busiest time of the year. That will come August and September. But already we're thinking about new technology that NOAA is using in the United States to help forecast hurricanes better and track them better. And guess what? You may be surprised. It's AI. So I decided to take a closer look at the AI NOAA will be implementing this year, how they're doing it, and also the GOES-19 satellite, which became effective in April, and see how that is also going to come into play, which with what is expected to be a busy hurricane season.
Hurricane season 2025 brings major advances in forecasting. NOAA is expanding its use of artificial intelligence, building on several years of AI integration to test new models alongside traditional methods in real time. Early research shows AI systems can improve tropical storm tracking by 20 to 25% over 2 to 5 day periods. They also work faster. Traditional physics-based models require hours of processing time. AI delivers the results in under a minute. The National Hurricane Center will use AI tools to supplement, not replace official models. Supporting these improvements is NOAA's new GOES-19 satellite, which just became operational in April. Monitoring tropical regions, it will provide more detailed and timely data than previous systems. So, in terms of tropical activity, what can we expect this year? NOAA predicts an above-average hurricane season. 13 to 19 named storms, including 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. The integration of AI and advanced modeling systems represents a significant step forward in protecting lives and property from these destructive weather systems.
So right now we're looking at an active season, as I mentioned, above average in the forecast. And I think it was important to note that for people that are concerned, because obviously there's serious stakes here with hurricanes, lives, property, that AI isn't doing it alone. It's enhancing existing meteorologists that are there and forecasting. And they're also kind of tracking it real time to see how the AI does versus the human. And I think the outcome of this season will determine a lot of what's going to happen going forward.
You know, they're putting a big bet in here because they've gutted the hurricane office, out of Miami. Mm-hmm. You've got a guy running FEMA who didn't know it was hurricane season. Mm-hmm. So they got to make it like we're doing something. As a resident of Florida, God help us. God help us. I'm praying that we don't get hit with a hurricane here because we won't know if it's coming and we won't be able to help do anything if it does. I hope this AI exceeds expectations, but realistically speaking, we're ruh-roh.
I know, Stephen, I think I saw something about NOAA was also working with HPE and Google, and they're trying to build some more advanced systems. But this whole weather forecasting thing, I feel like we've been talking about it for a decade now with IT and trying to make it all better. But, they still can't tell me if it's going to rain at 3:00.
Well, it's honestly, I think, a cynical attitude and out of touch with reality. Weather forecasting has actually gotten a lot better in the last few decades, thanks to advances in technology.
And modeling and so forth.
Yeah, modeling and satellites. I think it's important, as you mentioned, Bonnie, this is GOES-19. This one replaces GOES-16, which had been providing a lot of this data for the last few decades, since about 2000. All of these satellites that go up, I think that this is an example of sort of the quiet advancements in science that don't get a lot of attention and frankly don't get the applause that they should, because we have scientists working on, basically continually updating these geostationary weather observation satellites. For example, GOES-17 had a problem with its heat pipe. GOES-19, they fixed that. They also added instruments to this, for example, to replace the solar wind monitoring that was taken offline after the SOHO satellite was retired earlier this year. So again, this is scientists doing science stuff in a way that benefits all of us. And so I'm really happy to see this stuff move forward. I am very alarmed, as you are, Alan, about the gutting of the science funding at NOAA and basically every other part of the federal government, because this is an example of, like I said, of the US government and of science and NASA and NOAA doing good for all people. Hopefully, the predictions from this AI-based system will prove effective. I see no reason to think they won't. AI has actually shown great promise in weather prediction and modeling. But, if we don't continue to fund this sort of basic science, earth science, geoscience, then frankly, we will be up a creek, as Alan says, when not knowing when the next hurricane is coming. So I'm really glad to see that this satellite went up. I'm really glad to see that it's coming online, replacing the old satellite, replacing the retired satellite. Hopefully, we will continue to fund this sort of work.
I'll say something else. Hold on, Mike. One other thing I want to say. To your point, Mike, about whether or not it's going to rain at 3 o'clock and we get that right, let's not confuse that sort of point in time, weather forecasting with the ability to say our climate is changing and what the trends are and what could happen, in spite of what you may read on third-rate social networks or extreme TV, 24-hour news cycle TV shows, right? The fact of the matter is our ability to predict trends in weather and climate is pretty damn good and getting better.
It is, Alan. It is. But, and weather and the NFL are probably the two best examples that I know of to demonstrate and talk intelligently about generative AI. So both of those things that I mentioned are non-deterministic. On any given Sunday, the team that is picked to win on a blowout, the quarterback gets rolled over in the first play and they bring in a second stringer and lose the game. Weather is a non-deterministic game as well. It's all it is a transformer, is a generative AI transformer in life. What happened 1,600 times in the past doesn't happen 1,601. These are great examples in the real world of what a generative AI transformer actually is doing. It's non-deterministic. It follows and analyzes patterns that we've had in the past, that it's seen in the past. At any moment in time, all that could change.
So, having lived in Florida for a few years, speaking on behalf of the great Florida man that you occasionally encounter from time to time, they will say no one ever was surprised by a hurricane. It's not like you don't see this thing coming for a week. And the other thing that they will say is, regardless of how much you tell me that hurricane is coming, I ain't going anywhere anyway.
Well, that's a whole Florida man thing. There's more to that.
I just want to add one thing. It's not just about the forecasting of the storms. One of the cooler things I think will come out of this is understanding them better, getting closer looks at the rapid intensification when that happens. We've had so many of these Category 5 storms in recent years that it's been unprecedented. So studying how that happens, when that happens, and the mechanics behind it, getting more science and information on that is also going to be really beneficial.
Yep. JP, you were going to say something?
Oh, there's a great book about what happened the last time the government gutted NOAA before it was NOAA by Eric Larson. It's called Isaac's Storm. It's about the 1900 hurricane that took out Galveston. So it's relevant because the thinking is that we have technology, we don't need people, and it's really the Jesuit priests that were in Puerto Rico who understood the pattern that was coming towards the U.S. based upon the way that the storm came across Puerto Rico, and they ignored them.
And there you go. Great way to end this one.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break here on The Gang. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about power politics. We're talking power grid and data centers. You're watching Textron Gang.